Hello everyone. For those of you who are AS9100 ANAB accredited, or ANSI-ANAB, the American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, you have a variety of registrars out there that can do this. Well, let me just tell you something. My name's Daryl Guberman, and we broke open the biggest industrial scam. And if you pay for another surveillance audit, another recertification audit, or even a certification audit from this mess, then you are condoning what I'm going to tell you is fact. Sitting on the international accreditation form, and by the way, ANSI and ANAB are combining them together in 2026 to try to cover up their fraud. But sorry, it doesn't work, gentlemen and ladies. The American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, founded the International Accreditation Forum, its sister organization, IAQG, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. They are both associations of accreditation bodies, both national and international, that are equivalent to ANSI-ANAB, and ANSI-ANAB are their underwriters. They take full legal responsibility for the fraud that they perpetrated on you. Why is it fraud? It happened after 9/11. I'm not going to tell you the standards and all this, but 9/11, 7 months later, April and July. April, they came out with special processes, heat treatment, welding, non-destructive testing, send in your certs, send your parts, and we don't have to have any redundant inspections. Redundancy for Boeing, it meant they don't have to send any source inspectors to see if you're making your part in the jungle, in a rice paddy, whatever the heck it is. The next is July. July, they came out with a supplier bulletin which said that you must be AS9100, which is the International Aerospace Standard, must be ANSI-ANAB accredited. They called out ANSI-ANAB on their supplier portal. They said also, ANSI-ANAB are internationally equivalent. Here you go, veterans who own your own business, they screwed you. Or as President Trump said, they fucked you. And Patrick Shanahan, his Deputy Secretary of Defense in 2017, when asked about the F-35, he said it was fucked up. Well, let me tell you something. They really screwed you and fucked you all at the same time. Because sitting there as equivalents to ANSI-ANAB are Iran, who harbored some of the terrorists of 9/11, Pakistan, who harbored Osama bin Laden, and China, of course. So every time you pay your registrar, you are, I would say, did you condone 9/11? Because the payment is telling me something different. If you keep up with your registrar who's ANAB accredited, you must be condoning 9/11, and you can't get out of it. The sort is a fraud. Why? Because Boeing, in its illustrious leadership, Dennis Muhlenberg, John McNerney, or whatever the heck his name is, and David Calhoun, let me just tell you this. On ANSI-ANAB's Management System Accreditation Committee, they have, you can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. Boeing was there, giving you the illusion that they were AS9100. Well, guess what? They weren't AS9100 for 22 years, practically. In 2024, Miss Elizabeth Lund didn't know what the hell she was talking. That's why she retired in December of 2024. And she said that we are now going to be we're willing to achieve AS9100. For 22 years they weren't, but they were forcing it down your throats, going through the hoops and loops that you had to get certified. I remember what you used to say, ladies and gentlemen, all of you. Daryl, you gotta pay to play. Daryl, you need a ticket for the game. Daryl, I gotta do it. I don't know what it's about, but I gotta pay. And that's the way it is. So you paid for a fraud. It's your equivalency is Iran, Pakistan, or China, and others who sit on the IAF. Okay? And guess what? Are you condoning 9/11? That's what you really have to soul search, ladies and gentlemen. If you pay for another surveillance audit, registration audit, or even certification audit from ANAB, doesn't matter what registrar name you have, if it's got the ANAB logo or their international equivalents, okay, IAF and ILAC, who sit there, national and international equivalents, then you got screwed. You are perpetrating a fraud, and that's exactly what Boeing did to you. For 22 years, they gave the illusion that, yes, we're accredited, we're certified. And you were putting your good part into an uncertified system for 22 years. There's 11,000 jets buzzing around up there. I know what you're saying. Well, Daryl, it's safe. It's the safest way to fly. I'm not going to listen to you. You said the same shit about this. Oh, I had to take it from my mother. I had to do it for my father. I had to keep my job. Rather than all of you massing up and going out there and saying, screw you. You know, nurses, the hospital would have shut down, but I needed my job. But let me tell you something. The shame about it is that nobody's got any chutzpah anymore. You just roll over and give me a The only one I kneel down for is this guy up here. I will not, I cannot, and I shall not go like this. No way. The Boeing deception, a story of lies and control. Lies and control. For over 40 years, Darrell Guberman has worked to make sure companies tell the truth and follow the rules. He discovered the big lie at Boeing, one of the world's largest airplane manufacturers. From 2001 to 2023, Boeing made thousands of other companies spend lots of money to get a special certificate called AS9100, which proves the company makes things safely and correctly. But Boeing never got the certificate themselves for 22 years. Even worse, they helped run the group that gave all the certificates. This was unfair and dishonest. Example, imagine your teacher tells the whole class to do their homework to get a gold star, but the teacher never does their homework and still gives themselves a star. That's what Boeing did. How the certificate system started. 1989, 1991, the beginning, a group called Register Accreditation Board, RAB, was made to check if companies were doing their things the right way. Later, they joined with ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, to make a new system called ANSI-ANAB, which had a lot of power to give out certificates. Example, it's like making one kid in the class the only one who can hand out gold stars. 2000 to 2018, becoming more powerful, RAB became ANAB, and later ANSI took over complete control over them. They became the only group in the United States that could approve these certifications. No one outside them could check if they were being fair. How this spread across the world. Groups like IAF, International Accreditation Forum, ILAC, International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, were supposed to make sure certificates worked everywhere, but ANSI-ANAB helped them start, as I told you in the beginning. So there was no one to check if they were fair. Example, it's like the kid makes the rules for game and then also judges the game so they can never lose. They also started a program called GlobalAct for 2026 to hide mistakes and avoid getting in trouble. That doesn't work. How Boeing took advantage between 2001 and 2002, pressuring suppliers after 9/11. Boeing fired many employees. They told suppliers, other companies making parts for planes, that they had to get AS9100 certificates, but Boeing never got them themselves. Example, it's like a coach telling the team to run every day but never runs themselves. 2003, the online trap. Boeing made the system called the Online Aerospace Systems Information System with ANSI-ANAB, where suppliers had to register online and pay fees, or if they didn't, their certificate would be getting taken away. This let Boeing watch them closely without any real checks or outsiders. The big problem for everyone, big companies like Boeing, Lockheed, Airbus trusted these certificates, but Darrell Guberman proved the certificates were worthless because the system was broken from the top. Example, if a fire alarm is broken, you can't trust it to warn you about a real fire. That's what these certificates became. Because of this, many industries were affected, not just airplanes. Medical devices, electronics, and factories also lost in true certificates. Boeing finally admits, June 2024, a Boeing executive admitted that Boeing had never held the AS9100, even though they made others get it for 22 years. Darrell Guberman had already shown this years before, laws that they broke. Boeing and ANSI-ANAB broke several laws about fairness, ethics, and independence. Even U.S. government agencies were involved in the ways that made the system unfair. Example, it's like a referee in a game also playing on one of the teams. They can't be fair. Conclusion. The certificate system that Boeing and ANSI-ANAB ran is broken and dishonest. It can't be trusted anymore. Darrell Guberman is the only person who has the experience and honesty to fix it. He can make sure certificates really mean something again, and industries around the world can trust them. Example, if the gold stars were fake, Darrell Guberman is the teacher who can give the real stars again. So your certificate, ANSI-ANAB accredited, doesn't matter what register, Ferry Johnson, DNV, BBQI, BSI accept. It doesn't matter the 60, 70 registers out there. If they are ANSI-ANAB accredited, or ANAB accredited, which is ANSI-ANAB, or internationally equivalent, you're paying for a fraud. Do not pay for a surveillance audit. We have to take care of this stuff. We have to together. Right now, you're paying for a fraud, and you might condone 9/11 if you're paying for a surveillance recertification or certification audit. 203-556-1493.